Free Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
Breaking news now at 7. An early morning house fire ripped through this home on Adams Street in Hartford. Coming up, I'll tell you the questions we're working to get answered.
That is our top story this morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. Of course, we'll get back to that breaking news in Hartford in just a moment here. It is a brutal cold morning to be without a home, right? But first, we want to get a check on that forecast with meteorologist Jill Gilardi and get the details on those bitter cold temperatures. Oof.
Yeah, painful.
Yeah.
Very painful, the kind of cold that we're experiencing.
Looks so deceiving because outside it looks like just a normal day.
Yeah, you're like, oh, look, the sun's coming out. Looks nice. Yeah, you're like, you like instantly freeze up because it's so cold out there. It's 1 degree in Waterberry. That means we have temperatures out there in the sub-zero range as well. I've got a lot of reports up in the Colebrook area as low as 4 below. So yeah, really cold conditions. Look at that, Salisbury 3 below at this point in time. And we have many locations in the single digits. The exception barely is New Haven. The wind flow, it's light, but enough to create that colder feel. It does feel like it's 4 below in New Haven, also in Groton. So we all need to bundle up if we're going to be heading outdoors, allow extra time to warm up the vehicle. It's going to be cold all day today, but yeah, there will be some improvement with bright sunshine. So those single digits become teens and then eventually 20s, 23 for the high in Goshen. That should be our normal low, and our normal highs in the upper 30s. We're going to definitely fall shy of that. Upper 20s generally across the state. We'll see bright conditions throughout today. So yeah, at least travel weather is looking good. You just need to bundle up and don't forget the sunglasses. Now, there will be a little bit of snow, some festive flakes to contend with if you're traveling tomorrow morning. We'll have much more on that forecast coming up here very shortly. But for now, let's get an update on traffic. How's that crash looking, Caitlin?
Yeah, so it's still happening out here. You can see emergency crews on the scene, those flashing lights behind that tractor trailer. Also, a tow truck has now arrived on the scene. This is 84 eastbound, right between exits 52 and 53. Happened about 6:30 this morning. The right lane is closed. Traffic getting by no problem, and the good news is that traffic is really light this morning, so no problems getting by. Just be aware that you do have to slow down, move over, give them room to work. You can see those flashing lights there in the road, just alerting drivers to move over. So if you are traveling in and out of Hartford, just be aware of this. Elsewhere in the state, take a look at our wider view here. There are no problems. I'm Caitlin Nuclo. That's your Connecticut Chevy Pinpoint Traffic Alert, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, we're staying on top of that breaking news happening right now in Hartford, where crews are on the scene of a fire on Adams Street, making sure all the hot spots are now out. But they're doing this in these bitter cold temperatures.
Right, it's just such a cold morning to be fighting a fire, also to be without a home for those who were displaced. Let's get to your reporter, Olivia Schuler, who has been working the scene all morning. Olivia, what can you tell us? A lot of sand on the road behind you, probably because of all the ice from the water, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're putting that down right now. We've been able to get closer to where this fire happened on Adams Street because crews have left the scene here. The fire is completely out at this point, but what is left here is really just a devastating mess. You can see right now that there are some crews that are working inside the house to just start investigating, make sure that the fire is completely out. You can see there's caution tape in the front of the home to make sure no one goes into that area as they investigate. You can see, as you mentioned, that they did put some of this brown dirt down to kind of stop the water that's on this road, about how cold it is and icy. Definitely a threat a little bit to firefighters that were battling this, just how brutally cold it is, but also slippery out here, how quickly that water is freezing. Now, we are still waiting to find out from the public information officer with Hartford Fire how this fire started or if anyone was injured and how long they got this fire under control. Now, I did speak to a next door neighbor just a few minutes ago, and he showed me a video on his cell phone that just shows the flames pouring out of this home earlier this morning. But as you can see, I think it would be safe to say that the fire really stayed in the front of this home on the first level. So that's what they're working on right now. Of course, our thoughts are with everyone that, lived in that home, as Christmas is so close to us, just a day away. So as soon as we have an update for you, we will bring it to you here. So make sure you stay with us on the Wax, and we'll bring those updates throughout the morning. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Olivia. We're on top of another breaking news story. An ethics report into former Representative Matt Gaetz finds he violated laws related to sexual misconduct while in office.
That report finds Gaetz paid numerous women for sex, including a 17-year-old girl. Also finds that he purchased illegal drugs from his office in Washington, D.C.
Well, this is all according to a final draft of a House Ethics Committee report obtained by CBS. Gaetz resigned from Congress in November after President-elect Trump nominated him for Attorney General. Well, this morning, investigators in Hartford are trying to figure out what sparked a deadly fire.
It broke out early yesterday morning at an apartment on West Boulevard. Crews say they put out a fire in a kitchen, rescued one person who later died at the hospital.
Yeah, of course, we're asking all the right questions. We'll bring you new information as soon as it becomes available.
Well, this morning, police in Waterberry say a man is fighting for his life after a car crash on Wolcott Street. Pinpoint News Tracker shows you exactly where this happened. Police say a 22-year-old man from Naugatuck hit a fence and a stone wall. We're still working to learn exactly how that happened.
Well, happening today, Luigi Mangione is being arraigned in New York City on charges including murder as an act of terrorism. The 26-year-old Ivy League grad is accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York earlier this month.
It was targeted, premeditated, and meant to sow terror.
This act of terrorism is something that would not be tolerated in the city.
In New York, murder as an act of terrorism means any crime meant to scare civilians or influence the government. Mangione is also facing federal charges, including murder and stalking, but his lawyers call those charges, quote, highly unusual and may cause double jeopardy concerns. Mangione could face the death penalty. Well, happening today, a man due in court after a violent home invasion along the shoreline.
Yeah, police say Christian Chavez Sosa violated a protective order when he broke into the victim's home in Norwalk in October. We're told he damaged property, left, and then came back and tried to strangle the victim.
Investigators also tell us a child was inside the home when this all happened. Police caught up to him in New York and arrested him last week, who's now facing several charges. Also happening today, 2 suspects facing car theft charges set to face a judge in New Britain. Bristol police arrested them as they work to put an end to a larger theft ring. Police say Nelson Spires and Andy Semedo had high-tech equipment that allowed them to drive off the lot with any car parked at a dealership on East Main Street. Police say they're also facing charges in Massachusetts and that this ring that they were allegedly part of is responsible for stealing 63 vehicles. This morning, we're working to get our hands on surveillance footage of an ATM theft that happened in Meriden.
Police say they're searching for 4 people who apparently took off with cash from the ATM at the Valero gas station on Cook Avenue. We're told the surveillance footage shows a Honda CRV pulling up to the store.
They say 4 men inside smashed a window, wrapped a chain around the ATM, then pulled it out with their car, taking the cash and driving away.
Here's a license plate number that police are keeping an eye out for. We'll try to get that to you. We're told the same car was used in another attempted ATM theft in Brantford.
As soon as we have all those details, we'll let you know right here on Eyewitness News this morning on the Wax.
Well, this morning we've learned a home is completely destroyed by a fire in Berlin. You can see how badly it's burned here from these pictures. The house is on Shuttle Meadow Avenue. The flames broke out on Sunday afternoon. Multiple stations pitched in to help here. The owners and their pets were able to make it out. The cause, though, still not known this morning.
All right, let's talk about holiday travel here. A record number of Americans are expected to travel over the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, that's what AAA is saying. They expect more than 107 million people to hit the nation's highways.
The heaviest traffic on the roads is expected today until 6. And then there will be limited traffic Tuesday and Wednesday for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then as you're heading back home, it will get busy again in the afternoons.
Amtrak is warning about possible travel delays along its busy Northeast corridor. Service was temporarily suspended yesterday between Philadelphia and New York because of downed power lines that blocked the tracks. Crews have restored access, though trains are operating at reduced speeds in some areas.
Well, meanwhile, at the airports, TSA said it expects to screen nearly 40 million people between now and January 2nd. We saw very long lines outside of Tweed New Haven Airport on Saturday as people were waiting to pick up passengers who arrived there.
And we want to show you some video here from Bradley this morning. The airport says you will see crowds there from 8 to noon this morning. That's when it'll be the busiest. We spoke with travelers that were heading out for the holidays.
It's so packed. I don't think I've ever been in the airport this close to Christmas before, and there's a lot of people here. Yeah.
You can stay with Eyewitness News here all day for the latest updates on your travel needs. Well, right now, dangerously cold temperatures have prompted officials to open up shelters around the state.
Yeah, some are running 24/7 to help out people who otherwise wouldn't have a place to go. Many of those shelters offer food and water, along with a warm bed to stay for the night.
It's really important to be able to get warm at night so we don't die.
Grace and Mercy Church right here. They've been real nice. They opened up the doors and they feed us and give us a place to sleep.
All right, you can call 211 or visit 211ct.org to get help finding one near you. They are all around the state.
Now remember, those hours are extended right now, but the warming shelters will go back to their regular hours once the governor's cold weather protocol ends tomorrow. So we're still in that single digit temperature right now.
Yeah, deep freeze, and in some places it is below zero. It is officially -1 in Staffordville, according to Jeff. Coldest since February of last year. So right now it is a cold sunshine we're going to be greeted with. Mystic, we're starting off bright, and it will be bright across the entire state. But look at that. These are the actual thermometer readings. Salisbury 3 below. It's 8 in Hartford. 1, that's it, Waterberry. But there's enough of a wind, not a lot, but enough to create that chill in that sub-zero, lower single-digit range. So you're going to need to bundle up, certainly, before heading outside today. Don't forget the sunglasses. Now there will be some improvement, but not a ton. Still painfully cold throughout today. We'll top off into the 20s this afternoon. So falling well short of the normal high in the upper 30s. And then tomorrow morning, Christmas Eve, festive flakes still a part of the forecast. So we'll share more on the timing and potential amounts. That's all coming up here very shortly.